John Eats Cheap. We're in a bread crisis, right? Everybody's looking for bread, and people are sending me all these links for breads that are really easy to make. And for some reason, no yeast breads are big. I always have yeast on hand. I don't have a problem using yeast, but this one is really simple, and the picture I saw that was attached looked really good. It is a cup of flour, half a cup of milk, and 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, and that's it. Now here's the deal. You can use all-purpose flour or a cup of just regular all-purpose flour with a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, or use the self-rising flour, which is what I'm going to use. That already has the salt and the baking powder in it. So we start with a cup of flour. We add half a cup of milk and 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, which kind of at first sounds like, what? But what's mayonnaise? It's oil and eggs, which eggs in bread is usually pretty good. So let me get a couple of tablespoons in there. And that's all 3 ingredients. So I'm just going to mix this up with a fork. Just kind of like the old pizza crust in the 70s. Remember that? We talked about that. No need to use a big bread mixer. And this is just going to make 5 rolls. So it's good for, small batches. See how easy that mixes up? We're just going to use a fork to blend it in until it's all incorporated. And spoon it into a muffin tin. I got the oven preheating 350. We're going to bake them for about 15 minutes or until they're golden. Until you go, wow, that roll is golden brown and looks good enough to eat. I mean, that's pretty easy. I'm going to admit, I don't know how good this is going to taste. I don't know yet because I've never tried this. We're flying by the seat of our pants here. But that's what I like about these recipes. I mean, I do them for the first time and try them for the first time right here, and I guarantee you, I'm going to be honest. If this sucks, I'm going to tell you it's not worth the effort. But that looks pretty mixed up there. Now we're just supposed to spoon these into the greased muffin tins. Let me cover up my mayo here. So I'm going to just spray them with a little nonstick spray. I'm going to do 5 of the tins in a 6 tin. Oh, that drives me nuts. You know that. Let me get these spooned in here. I'll try and get them as even as I can. As I said, we're preheating the oven at 350. I gotta make sure I get the right ones that have been sprayed. I mean, if these taste good, look at how easy this is. You gotta admit, this is pretty easy. And you could obviously double the recipe if you got twice as many people. Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. I'm just gonna have to scoop these up and add a little extra, right? Try and make them as even as possible. That one looks a little small. Those look pretty even, don't they? We are going to be eating fresh rolls in 15 minutes with John Eats Cheap. By the way, while our no yeast rolls are cooking, what we're having with that, my homemade veggie beef soup. Remember I said my favorite soup when I was a kid? I didn't like vegetables at all, but I loved beef with vegetables and barley soup by Campbell's. This is my homemade version, beef with vegetables and quinoa instead of barley. And look at that. It is so good. Very tasty. I've done a video on this. We'll add the link here so you can see how to make it, but it's very tasty. It's going to go great with these rolls. 4 seconds. Now this is the 15 minutes that they recommended. They said 15 minutes or until golden brown, which I always say, go by the look of it, right? Let's pull them out. Yeah, those don't look like the picture I was promised. Not yet. So these got to go back in. Those don't look anywhere near done. I'm really hungry. But they'll go back in, and I'm not even going to set a timer. Well, you know what I should, so I can keep track. I'm going to go 5 more minutes, just so I can have a better sense of how much time it takes. I want to dig into this soup. It looks so good. I'll wait. So a few seconds left. It said 15 minutes. This will be 20. I haven't looked at them yet. This is what these no yeast rolls are supposed to look like. By the way, thanks to Tammy for sending this in. We're trying it out. And here's what they look like after 20 minutes. Those aren't really smooth and golden brown, and those don't look like the ones I saw in the picture. They're very biscuit-like. Yeah, they're kind of brown on the bottom, but they're falling apart. Wow. I'm going to put them in for a little bit more. I'm not real encouraged by that test, though. Let's put them in until they get a little more golden. So I got to say, those do not look like the picture. By the way, in Tammy's defense, she did not say, I tried these and they were great, you need to make them. She was like, I saw this recipe, does this work? Looking at it, I'm going to say no, it doesn't work, but I haven't tasted it yet. And the great thing is, when I was going through the freezer, I found one last dinner roll. This is Blue Sky Bread Company, and they make great dinner rolls. And I found one last one in the freezer. They're great frozen and reheated, so I threw it in just in case. And I'm thinking that's probably a good thing. I'm just covering with butter here because that's what it said to do in the recipe. These are not golden on top. They're not smooth like the picture. That picture that we showed you, that there is no way that was the actual dinner roll, right? No yeast, dinner rolls. And I'm going to try one, but I'm sure I don't even have to. Oh, they look golden on the bottom. That's nice. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to try this. It may be the greatest thing ever. But it's very biscuit-like, which is understandable. Got a little piece there. A little butter. I'm sorry, I don't eat a little butter with any bread. I always eat a lot of butter. So I'm going to put it on there. But I can just tell by the consistency, it's very biscuit-like. And I love biscuits. Those are fine, but they didn't say these were biscuits. They said they were rolls. So let's try it out here. Yeah, that's not even a biscuit. One more try. I apologize for even making you watch this. I'm not even going to say, Mrs. Cheap, you got to try this just to make sure. These are horrible. Not a good recipe. You know what? We're honest. And that's why I made them. Because somebody said, hey, are these any good? I'm going to tell you, no, they're not. Don't make the 3-ingredient, no yeast dinner rolls. But Blue Sky, thank you for saving the night. Look at that. I got my veggie beef quinoa soup. I'm going to slather half of that up and split it with Mrs. Cheap for dinner. Thanks for watching, Johnny's Cheap.